Hey guys, one of my really good friends for a long time, motorcycle buddy of mine, got a Rmax. He has reached 20 hours on it and just wanted to do a quick little 20-hour review from an actual owner. Before we go any further, of course, click like and subscribe. It helps out the channel and it lets us know we're not wasting our time. Before I start letting him talk, I've ridden this thing with him a couple times. I really like it. I don't have the need for a sport utility, but if I did, this would 100% be the one. And honestly, it's more sport than it is utility, but I don't need a dump bed. You know, guys, you know I'm in a lot of love with my KRX, so I don't need one, but if I did need something with a dump bed, this will be the one. All right, so why'd you pick a Rmax, and specifically the XTR Rmax?
I'm a big Yamaha fan. I've had a lot of Yamaha motorcycles, and I'm a believer in their reliability. And this was their new, latest, and greatest model, and so I decided just to go with it.
Gotcha. What made you pick the XTR instead of the limited or the base model?
Well, the XTRs were the first ones available. The base models you had to wait longer for, and the XTR came with a winch already in the roof and the some other features with the backlit switches and whatnot, and so because
Gotcha.
of all of those reasons, I just went ahead and picked up the XTR.
And in the US, that's the Adventure Pro and the rear view mirror and the roof, right?
Right.
Gotcha. And it came with the rock sliders too that you can see, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, so just shooting from the hip here, what is your favorite thing about it so far, now that you've got it to the first break-in point and you've ridden it on all kinds of terrain?
I like that it's a little more upright seating position. You can see out of it and see the trail really well. It's comfortable. I've ridden in it for several hours and have no issues with comfort. I think I like the way it looks, the styling. I think it's aggressive looking. I like that it came with 30-inch tires stock, so you didn't immediately have to put bigger wheels on it and tires. And so and it has plenty of power. And it's just a blast to drive.
Good deal. And so far from what you've done with it, what is your least favorite thing about it, or what's something you wish Yamaha would have fixed from the factory? And it could be something that you've already fixed or whatever, but what's your least favorite thing about it?
That's a tough one. Least favorite thing, probably I wish it would have came. This is going to roll into the mods section, but I wish it would have came with some fender flares. It's a pretty muddy ride when you first get it.
Gotcha.
If you hit any mud, but we'll address that in a minute.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. So tell me, so like I said, this is an XTR. So it's got the roof, the rear view mirror, the winch, and the Adventure Pro. And the Adventure Pro is awesome. That's a whole nother video of all the stuff it can do, but it's really cool that it comes with that. So just starting wherever you want to, what are the mods you've done to it, and why did you do those mods?
First thing I bought was the windshield, of course. It's, we're in the winter time here, so it's a little cool. So I bought the windshield. It's the Yamaha, a non-folding windshield, and it's quick release, so you can take it off really easily.
Oh yeah, just snap those open. Gotcha. Gotcha.
I bought the rear soft window for it.
Does this one unzip too?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like the KRX one where you can unzip it and roll
You
it
can
up.
unzip it and roll it up.
Cool.
The Yamaha storage box to keep things clean and dry, and it has a gasket that keeps everything sealed inside.
And that's kind of a quick release thing too, right?
Yep. You
Gotcha.
can take that out real quickly, and you can have it in the back there, or you can have it at the front.
Okay, cool.
And it'll bolt into either position.
Yeah. And the other question a lot of people have is the cooler. You got a pretty interesting setup. How'd you do that?
I took the bed bolts out in this location and replaced them with some D-rings that came with a one-hole tab, and they're all stainless steel. Bought some hardware to replace the stock bolts, and there was a little measuring involved because the bolts will bottom out if you get them too long, and there was a spacer required, but just a little thinking and some hardware, and so I could have a 4-point mounting system for the cooler, so it would stay where I wanted it to, and no matter how hard we're abusing this thing, the cooler does not move.
Gotcha. And everybody always asks, is that just the Walmart Ozark Trail cooler, right?
Yes.
And it came with the slots in it where you
Yes.
can run the straps through it. Cool.
Yes.
Cool. All right, so moving down, obviously this isn't something
Nope.
that came on it.
Prototype fender flares I made. Today was the first test, and they worked great. Before the fender flares, you would have mud on the inside of the windshield and all over. If you're driving, your left side would be covered, and if you were a passenger, your right side would be covered. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and we did a video today too, guys, some GoPro video, and you'll see how good they work. But I mean, we were at Busco Beach, and that place is just a nightmare as far as sloppy mud goes, and we're not covered at all. I actually got soaking wet, but that wasn't the mud's fault. That was my friend's fault. He thought it'd be funny to just douse me in 38-degree water, but anyway.
Typically, the seats would be covered with mud after a ride like today, and there's not a single spot of mud on any of the seats. So
yeah. I mean, you got to see it. I mean, there's one spot there, and I have ridden this with him before, and like your whole shoulder and neck and side of your face and the back window and everything will be covered with that mud flaps. But like you said, these are prototypes, so
the only other mod I've done are the Tusk beadlocks. Bought through Right Coast Off-Road, and was first ride on those today as well. And you know, of course, beadlocks will be functional, but I think the black wheels just look a lot better on this machine than the gold wheels that came on.
Yeah, I agree. The bronze is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So another thing that I just realized we missed, which happens in every video I do, but what is it drive mode or D mode or whatever they call it?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? And let's walk over there to it so everybody can see what we're talking about. If I'm not mistaken, the base does not come with it.
Right.
I think you can add it.
Yes.
But it does not come with it. But what I'm talking about when I say, is it D mode?
Yeah, it's D
mode. It just sounds weird.
It's drive mode. Yeah, the D mode right there.
Is this thing? Hang on, guys. I'm sorry. Right here, and it's got sport. Hang on, I'm getting there. Sport, trail, and crawl. And I can say too, I'll let him elaborate on it, but riding in it today when we did some of the drag races against people there, the sport mode does make a big difference, but I'll let you go ahead with it.
I mean, if you're familiar with the pedal commander that people buy for, you know, trucks and cars and whatnot, basically it makes the throttle input more sensitive. You know, it's not really adding any power to the machine. It's just giving you more power at a given throttle input. So it just makes it more responsive, and it's a noticeable difference. Sport mode definitely makes it very jumpy, and then if you're doing some rock crawling, you put it in crawl mode, and you can be really smooth on the power.
Gotcha. Another thing I'll throw in there too, which I don't feel like gets covered enough with these machines, is just how nice the interior is on these things. The seats, and again, I've got a KRX, I love it, but the inside of that thing feels like a Chinese car compared to this thing. I had to add knee pads to mine and all kinds of weird little stuff. And this one comes, and it may not be on the base. I imagine it is, but I'm not sure. Okay, so my friend just confirmed it is, but man, the seats are super comfortable. Like, everything's exactly where it needs to be. You've got knee pads there, knee pads on the door. It's got speaker cutouts. This is the best grab bar in the industry, period. There's zero rattle to it. It's super easy to adjust, and it's actually, and I think some of the other guys have covered this in their videos, but it has this weird curve to it, but it's so much more comfortable to hold on to. But there's zero engine heat, which actually would have been nice today, but I'm not going to complain because the engine heat in some of the older machines is really bad. No heat. It's not very loud. It's a very pleasant riding experience. If you're concerned about fit and finish on the interior, get this thing. I mean, you can hear the door shut. I mean, it's better than my truck. The shoulder bolsters, a lot of people hate these too. I don't mind them. I actually kind of like them. Because it gives you something to lean against when you're driving this thing like you're supposed to be, not, you know, just cruising around. But no, it's I really like this machine, guys. Jerry, anything else before we shut it down?
No, I'm real happy with it. It's my first side-by-side. You know, come from a lifetime of riding dirt bikes, and you know, finally was convinced to buy one of these, and this replaced a street bike, and having a lot of fun with it, and can't wait to take it to West Virginia.
Gotcha. Any future mods you've got planned for it that you just know you're going to do, you just haven't got there yet?
I don't know. Not yet. none that I'm aware of. I mean, I thought about maybe some soft doors for it, but to be honest with you, if you dress right and
Appropriate, yeah.
yeah, with a windshield and a back window, it's not that bad to ride in the wintertime. So I probably will just forego that and put the money towards something else. What that is, I don't know yet.
Cool. And you haven't disconnected any of the sway bars or anything?
No,
And
it only has a front. It does not come with a rear.
Okay.
And so I haven't disconnected anything.
Yep, there's nothing back there. And Jared, my friend rides it pretty hard, guys. So I used to be a big believer in taking sway bars off, at least on some of the more utility-oriented machines. But this thing, it's a short wheelbase. It's only 64 inches wide, and it's got a lot of power for that size machine. So when you get on it, it goes. So I think leaving the sway bars on is probably the best idea, unless you're strictly a rock crawler. But even then, I mean, some of the other videos we've done on it, you've seen it flexes good, it rides great. It doesn't really limit its capability.
Oh, I forgot. Let me add that the only future mods I plan to do is put some of those seismic vents in the windshield and maybe a windshield wiper. That's
Gotcha.
probably next on my list.
Gotcha.
That's
Yep. And when he says the seismic vents, that's actually a company out of North Carolina. They're good guys. It's like a vent that's, I guess, it's kind of oblong and it's open on the bottom, and it has an adjustable flap on the inside of it. And those things are really nice because you can adjust it up where if it's foggy, it'll kind of defrost the inside of the window, or if you're hot, you can just point it straight at yourself. Or if it gets cold, you can just close it up. And they're maybe 3 or 4 inches wide and probably 10 inches long. They're really nice. But yeah, that should be it, guys. I'm sure we'll forget something like we always do, but leave a comment, like it. If you don't like it, tell us about that too. That's fine. But otherwise, please click subscribe. Y'all have a good day.